What's up guys, Noah from Stage 3 Motorsports, and today I'm going to be bringing you a review on these Thompson Baja MTZ P3 tires. Now the set I have here is a 35-12-50-17 set, and these are on our 2013 Project Raptor that we've been building. So we've had a good amount of time now to test these, just using it day to day, using the truck around the shop, hauling parts, in town, and also on a couple different off-road trips where we've had it out in the desert, kind of in northern Phoenix, as well as up in northern Arizona in snow and mud and all sorts of different terrain. So we feel like we've gotten a pretty good feel for how these tires perform. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about on-road performance first. So as with most mud terrains, they're not always excellent on the road, and that really isn't anything specifically against a Thompson tire. It's just all mud terrains that tend to be kind of loud and a little bit rough to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Now with that being said, if we're comparing this to other mud terrains on the market like a BFG KM3 or a Falken Wild Peak, I'd say in most cases this is a pretty comparable tire on the street, if not a little bit louder than some of those other options. Most of that I think comes down to the fact that the Thompsons have really big tread blocks with a lot of depth and also a very large void in between those blocks. And so once you get going on the highway, especially up to like 70 or 80 miles an hour, the drone and the hum that comes off these tires can be pretty bad. And we do have an aftermarket exhaust on here as well, which is decent. It's not a super loud exhaust and it's not super aggressive, but these tires will overpower the sound at a certain point once you're going down the highway or you're on the road cruising for an extended period of time. So if you are looking for something that's going to be very street friendly and quiet on the road, this probably isn't the tire for you, but then again, this also isn't really the intended purpose of this tire. As I said, it is a true mud terrain, so the idea is that this is going to be really capable in mud and rocks and snow and very aggressive off-road environments. So with that being said, let's talk about how this actually performed in the dirt. Getting these tires out in the mud and the snow was probably the first real test that we had when we were up around Williams, Arizona, and I'd say that these performed exceptionally well. They make really, really good traction, even in super slippery, thick mud, as well as deep snow. And there were definitely circumstances where we had the truck just in two-wheel drive, no four-wheel action, and it was still making traction. Even with spinning the tires a bit, they would still manage to dig down and bite just fine. And it actually clears the tread fairly well, just because these voids are so big that once stuff gets packed in, it doesn't always stick and it doesn't cost you traction as you keep going. So functionality there is excellent. In terms of very rocky and sandy conditions, the tires also performed very well there, and we had a chance when we were out in the desert to kind of run it down some washes and some areas with either bigger rocks or some deeper sand that had settled in, or across some desert roads, and it felt like they would bite really well. They grab rocks pretty nicely. With that, sometimes there is the issue of they'll throw rocks quite a bit, so you'll hear a lot of that in the fenders, and especially if you have rocks stuck in there and you get back on the road, it'll kick them around. That happens with a lot of mud terrains. With these, it can be a little bit worse, but what you're getting out of that is a lot better traction. And so when we were putting the pedal to the metal and really running this thing hard, it was still very controllable. You can even get the truck a little bit sideways and it doesn't feel like you're losing too much traction from the tire to where you can't pull it back around or let off and get the grip that you need. So I do think that they work really well in most really rough off-road conditions. Now in terms of sidewall on these tires, there is plenty on a 35 obviously, so when we air down, they're flexible enough that the tire will squish out and get us more traction, but they're also durable enough and have enough plies in there that they haven't had any issues with taking punctures or breaking or tearing as we've hit larger rocks and things like that. Now on top of that, Thompson also has a fairly aggressive lug design that kind of wraps around the sidewall. And we haven't really rock crawled this truck in any super difficult terrain where we've been crawling just on the sides or really testing these lugs too hard, so I can't tell you exactly how well those perform. So overall, I really like the Thompson MTZs. I think this is an excellent tire if you're the type of person that wants to do a lot of off-roading and you want the most traction possible and you really intend to use your vehicle in very difficult terrain. This is going to get the job done for you without a problem. Now with that being said, I'd say the big drawbacks are, of course, the on-road performance is not great and I really don't like how much they howl. And also with mud terrains, they tend to be pretty expensive, so there are cheaper tires on the market depending on what you're trying to do with your vehicle. But for what you get for the money, you will get a very aggressive off-road tire in this case. So the Thompsons are definitely a win for the right kind of person. And as usual, guys, we appreciate you watching. If you want to pick up a set of these for your truck, you can head down that description below. Click those links, they'll shoot you over to the website. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.